guys, so I have a new book of poetry for you by the one and only Sarah Kay. Now, any of you who are familiar with slam poetry are probably familiar with Sarah Kay and her works. This is actually a recently published book of her poems. Her second book, I believe. The first one, I think, only included a couple of poems. Her first one called B, just as in the letter B. And the main poem from that, the titular poem from that, which is also the poem she is most well known for, is also included in this book. So I will be able to read you guys that poem. It's also, so Sarah Kay did a TED Talk in 2011 where she performed this poem and I believe one other. So, yeah, that's why it's probably the poem she's the most well known for. Unfortunately, another poem of hers that I really like is not included in the book, but I have it on my computer screen right behind the camera so that I can still read it out for you guys. Because, like I said, it's my favorite and I still wanted to read it to you. So, this is called Matter The Wreckage. There's actually a lot in here. All of these, but she's been a poet for, well, she's at least been in the scene for at least 10 years now, which is quite a bit. Like, she's only a few years older than I am, so yeah, that means she's been in the scene since she was a teenager, which is, wow, pretty incredible. But also, her poems have this sort of simplicity, and a lot of them have this sort of youth to them that I really like, and that is really relatable. So, the first one is called Love Poem 137. So I'll read that one. I will wake you up early, even though I know you like to stay through the credits. I will leave pennies in your pockets, postage stamps of superheroes in between the pages of your books, sugar packets on your kitchen counter. I will Hansel and Gretel your home. I talk through movies, even ones I've never seen before. I will love you with too many commas, but never any asterisks. There will be more sweat than you are used to, more skin, more words than are necessary. My hair in the shower drain, my smell on your sweaters, bobby pins all over the windowsills. I make the best sandwiches you have ever tasted. You'll be in charge of napkins. I can't do a pull-up, but I'm great at excuses. I count broken umbrellas after every thunderstorm, and I fall asleep repeating the words, thank you. I will wake you up early with my heavy heartbeat. You will say, can't we just sleep in? And I will say, no, trust me, you won't want to miss a thing. I think this poem is a pretty good example of what I like about her. She has this attention to detail that I really like in poetry in general, and in hers especially. She mentions these little details like leaving hair in the sink and bobby pins all over the place, little details of a relationship that are like, kind of annoying, but not something you certainly romanticize. The next one I want to read is called The Toothbrush to the Bicycle Tire. They told me that I was meant for the life, that you would drag me through the mud. They said that you would tread all over me, that they could see right through you, that you were full of hot air, that I would always be chasing, always watching you disappear after sleeker models, that it would be a vicious cycle. But I know better. I know about your rough edges, and I have seen your perfect curves. I will fit into whatever spaces you let me. If loving you means getting dirty, bring on the grime. I will leave this porcelain home behind. I'm used to twice-a-day relationships, but with you, I'll take all the time. And I know we live in different worlds, and we're always really busy, but in my dreams you spin around me so fast I always wake up dizzy. So maybe one day I'll grow tired of the road and roll on back to me, and when I blink my eyes into the morning, your smile will be the only one I see. Mostly I think that one's just really cute, but also, again, there's this attention to detail, this simplicity of everyday life that she infuses into her poetry that makes it all so understandable and relatable. We all know what a toothbrush is and have some sense of, yeah, a toothbrush just kind of sits there all day and gets used in the morning and in the afternoon. That's it. And we all can imagine, riding a bike through the rain, getting all dirty and muddy and stuff. So, but it takes quite the imagination and a certain type of creativity to think about two inanimate objects from different worlds falling in love. Okay. This one is B. Instead of Mom, she's going to call me Point B, because that way she knows that no matter what happens, at least she can always find her way to me. And I'm going to paint the solar systems on the back of her hands, so she has to learn the entire universe before she can say, "Oh, I know that like the back of my hand." And she's going to learn that this life will hit you hard in the face, wait for you to get back up just so it can kick you in the stomach. But getting the wind knocked out of you is the only way to remind your lungs how much they like the taste of air. There is a hurt here that cannot be fixed by band-aids or poetry, so the first time she realizes that Wonder Woman isn't coming, I'll make sure she knows she doesn't have to wear a cape all by herself. Because no matter how wide you stretch your fingers, your hands will always be too small to catch all the pain you want to heal. Believe me, I've tried. And baby, I'll tell her, don't keep your nose up in the air like that. I know that trick, I've done it a million times. You're just smelling for smoke so you can follow the trail back to a burning house, so you can find the boy who lost everything in the fire to see if you can save him. Or else find the boy who lit the fire in the first place to see if you can change him. But I know she will anyway, so instead I'll always keep an extra supply of chocolate and rain boots nearby, because there's no heartbreak that chocolate can't fix. Okay, there's a few heartbreaks that chocolate can't fix, but that's what the rain boots are for, because rain will wash away everything if you let it. I want her to look at the world through the underside of a glass-bottom boat, to look through a microscope at the galaxies that exist on the pinpoint of a human mind, because that's the way my mom taught me. There'll be days like this, my mama said, when you open your hands to catch and wind up with only blisters and bruises, when you step out of the phone booth and try to fly, and the very people you want to save are the ones standing on your cape, when your boots will fill with rain and you'll be up to your knees in disappointment, and those are the very days you have all the more reason to say thank you, because there's nothing more beautiful than the way the ocean refused to stop kissing the shoreline no matter how many times it swept away. You will put the wind in win some, lose some. You will put the star in starting over and over, and no matter how many landmines erupt in a minute, be sure your mind lands on the beauty of this funny place called life. And yes, on a scale from 1 to over-trusting, I am pretty damn naive, but I want her to know that this world is made out of sugar. It can crumble so easily, but don't be afraid to stick your tongue out and mama is a warrior and your papa is a warrior, and you are the girl with small hands and big eyes who never stops asking for more. Remember that good things come in threes, and so do bad things, and always apologize when you've done something wrong. But don't you ever apologize for the way your eyes refuse to stop shining. Your voice is small, but don't ever stop singing. And when they finally hand you heartache, when they slip war and hatred under your door and offer you handouts on the street corners of cynicism and defeat, you tell them that they really ought to meet your mother. So, this is something I really like. This goes a little bit more into her perspective. There is a sense of her naivety in at least some of her poems, but she also very clearly has a sense of what's going on in the world. She doesn't always talk about it. There are a lot of poets who talk about like very angsty stuff, or political stuff, and she can like get into that a little bit. But it's the simplicity that that's where she really shines, I guess. Anyway, those of you who have seen videos where I read my poems might now get a sense of where I get a lot of my style from, because I do get a lot of inspiration from Sarah Kay, and the way she conducts her love poems especially. So, yeah, those are a few of the poems from No Matter the Wreckage. Now I'm going to put this down so that I can read a song called Worst Poetry. This is one of those poems that there's a video of it on YouTube, and it's a pretty old poem of hers, but I will refer back to that video again and again and again, because it's the kind of poem that like you feel in the mood for sometimes. Sometimes there'll be a particular song and you're in the mood to listen to that particular song, and you want to listen to it over and over. This is a poem that's sort of like that. So if you like this, then I would highly recommend you look up the video Worst Poetry by Sarah Kay, and watch the YouTube video, because she performs it way better than I ever could. Without a question, you are the worst thing that has ever happened to my poetry. And I'm serious, I've heard about writer's block, but this is ridiculous. My poetic fluidity has dried up faster than a woman hitting menopause, to the point where this dry spells got me praying for some sort of inspirational discharge to leak from the folds of gray matter in my brain, and shit, see what I mean? I've been thinking for far too long with my heart instead of my head, and I think people may be starting to notice, and I've got a reputation to uphold, man. And no, it's not my time of the month, so don't ask. It's my time of the day, or what used to be, when I could sit down, write a really gritty, angry poem, one that just seething with angst, but now I can't, because I'm just too damn happy. Or should I say sappy, because I used to watch Face the Nation for international news, then The Daily Show for international hope. Turn out great political satire, ripe with biting wit and sarcasm, but I can't do it anymore. You know why? Because I don't watch those shows anymore, because you've got me watching The Stars, and no, I don't mean Brad and Angelina, no, I mean those stars. You've got me watching them, thinking about whether you're watching them, and maybe that would make a good poem. And this is crap, like a slap across the face of my muse, who's had to withstand so much abuse. She's threatened to leave my side, leave my mind. I try to tell her, please, it's just not a good time, but she leaves me with my pleas and really bad rhymes, and I can't do this. I refuse to let my words sink to such levels of atrocity, refuse to submit make sense of my lovesick babble. They come with black sharpies and try to connect the dots, forming man-made constellations from my nonsensical thoughts. And this has to stop, because writing in abstract metaphors so that you think I have a more poetic view of the world than you is against my poetic ethics, which rhymes with ethnic, which is incidentally one more poem topic which you have rendered useless, because I'm a hapa, meaning I'm of mixed blood, which means I never fit inside a checkmark box, always falling between the cracks, always writing about finding my culture and where I belong. But those poems have fallen to the wayside as I find I belong up against your chest, your arms around my back, my head under your chin, eyes closed. I sit down to write a poem, and the only thing in my head is you, and I don't understand why you're the worst thing that has ever happened to my poetry, if you're the best that ever happened to me. So, one of the reasons why I like this poem so much is because I can relate to it. Those of you who have followed my more vloggy videos might know that I am engaged, and I have noticed that since I have begun dating the guy that I am now engaged to, I have been writing a lot less, and not because I don't try, but because of this same problem. If you're familiar with the kinds of poetry that I write, you might also notice that I write a lot of breakup poems and angsty, upset poems, and yeah, it's really just a matter of I am so much happier as a person because of him. And it kind of sucks. Maybe it's just easier to write poems about anger than it is about happiness, because a lot of happiness, a lot of happy stuff in poetry, roses are red, violets are blue, etc., has become cliche now. So it's hard to not be cliche and write a love poem, it comes out sappy. But it's interesting. And I definitely remember showing him this poem once, because, yeah, the last line gets it. I don't understand why you're the worst thing that has ever happened to my poetry, if you're the best that's ever happened to me. So, yeah, that's Sarah K. Or, well, that's Sarah K.